more of those CDC streamers, or CDC dries that we were tying yesterday. Those patterns were good patterns, so that's what we'll start out with today. There we go. Get our thread started. And then we will do a little dubbing rope. Try to get a little closer. A dubbing rope. That's good. I think that's a good amount. Spin that up. That's the body. Get a little space before the eye. Tying a wing. We were using that darker CDC for the wing. The old dark done. Get 2 feathers for the wing. That's an ugly feather. So we have this feather right here. It looks pretty ugly, but we can work it, brush it out, loosen up those fibers, and it'll fluff up, and that'll work. So we'll do one of those, slightly longer than the bend. 1, 2, and then we'll do one more. Same thing, really ugly feather, but we'll kind of fluff it out, and then we'll tie it in right on top. 1, 2, 3. Advance, 1, 2, come back, 1, 2. Let's get our hackle going. We were using a darker hackle. So we have this feather, we'll just use the one side for the hackle, clip and trim, clip, and then we're gonna split our thread and insert the material. Split, ooh, not a great split, but it'll work. Insert the material from the clip, insert and release the material. Gotta be quick. The material could slip out. Spin up the thread, spin up the material, preen a little bit, and then we'll wrap slow. Wrap 1, slow, 2, slow. I'm thinking 3, but there's not a lot, so I'm gonna go 3 in front and finish. We'll let our thread unwind. We'll trim out our butts. Pull out that trash. Check out our profile. Profile is looking nice. Good color on the body. Good shape on the wing. Little stragglers for the legs. It looks good. After our thread unravels, we will whip it, and then we will move on. Whip it. Ooh. And keep that hook eye open. 3, and again, 1, 2, 3, cinch it down, and clip, and remove. I really want to do one more, but I will spare you because we've been doing a lot of those. We could do one Mayfly, and then we'll get into our streamer. Do one May. How we looking? Looking okay. Get our thread started. Tail, we need some tail material. CDL for the tail. Right here. 3 fibers is enough. 1, 2, 3. Oh, gotta cut them out. Cutting them out. Measure them out. I like them long. Spin it up. We're at the tail fibers. Get them all the way down that toward the bend. And then a nice one is kind of, yeah, there we go. Get some tension, little flare. Trim it out. Whoa. The easiest material to work with for this would be the some dubbing, just to dub a body. But I'm looking around my desk, checking to see if we have anything. And we could do yeah, maybe just dubbing. Maybe just dubbing. We'll do the olive mixed with a little bit of gray. Blend that up. It's going to be more than we need. Make our rope. I think that's enough. There's a little something in that rope, so we'll have to travel our thread down toward the tail. Yeah, there it is right there. Little feather fiber. Start wrapping the abdomen. Wrap, 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 wrap. Pretty high. Stop there. Not a great taper, but it's fine. For the wing, I'm going to do single wing. A little bit lighter color right here. And then we'll tie it forward, vertical, 2 loose, 1, 2. Draw it nice and high, about same length as the body. Put some wraps in front, put some wraps behind, and then we'll trim off this back section. We need some hackle. Let's do a little bit darker for the hackle. good one. Clean up the feather a bit, then preen down. We'll just use one side. And then trim it up. I'm gonna pull that out. It's a little bit heavy. Split our thread. And insert the CDC. Spin it up. Spin, spin, spin. And preen a little bit. We're going to try to do 3 wraps behind the wing and then 1 wrap in front. That's what I like. So 1, 2, 3. We still have quite a bit of material, so we'll do 1 more. That's 4 in front of the wing, 1 and 2. So we have about 1 wrap too much of leg material, and you can see it's really full. That's okay. Sometimes you need a full one. Sometimes you need a full one. Normally, I'm all for keeping the CDC long. I'm just going to trim these out because they are a little bit too long. But yeah, everything else is good. Looks good. Trim that back off, yeah. And that is an olive mayfly. Tied it slightly larger. You could use it to search. And then if you run into a hatch, you could go down in size. And we'll trim it up and add it to the pile. All right, so that's a caddis and a mayfly. Now for our streamer. We have some dumbbell eyes. Let's change up the thread first. Throw on the flat white waxed. Flat white waxed. Oh, no, we need an articulation. What are we doing? We're gonna articulate the streamer. Do some 0.8 millimeter wire. That should be good. That's about 2 inches of the wire. We're gonna start bending the ends on each other. Bending one end down. Now we have like a 7, and then we're going to bend one end down, so you have not concurring opposites. I don't know how you describe that. And then I take my finger and I bend it, and when we have that shape, I'll get the needle nose and I'll push it again. It creates a little cross. That's fine. You can cross it. And then bend with the finger. But this is too long, so we need to trim it out. So I'm going to bend it back, trim that off a bit, take a 1/4 centimeter off. And then same thing on this side, that's too long. Take some off. All right. Now close that side up, press, bring this down, close this side up, press, kind of squeeze everything together, and that is a shank. We're going to tie the shank onto our streamer hook. I want to connect the shank. We'll do it vertical. So this will be the end, this will be the connection point. I don't think it quite matters, really, where you connect it, but we'll lock it in there. We'll do a little bit of thread base around our shank. And then we will add our material. I'm gonna do dungeon style, but kind of shorter back end, utilizing the longer material. We'll do marabou, long marabou wing, and I'm not even gonna wrap a palm or anything in between. Maybe I'll wrap some flash if I have the space, but I'm kind of thinking, actually I'm just no wing, I'm gonna do big tail. That's it, big tail. Big old tail. Big old tail. Big old tail. We can do olive over white. So 1 bunch olive, 1 bunch white. That's not a very nice feather, but we'll use it. Olive over white. I think there's enough there. I think there's enough here. So we'll take a little bunch of olive. Make sure the tips are nice. Trim it off the feather. Transfer. I'm going to aim the tying point right in the middle. Do 1 bunch olive. And then we can trim that out. That wasn't very clean, that's okay. Very heavy. Then we'll do 1 bunch white underneath. Olive over white. Flip it over. Transfer the material. We want to clean up the butts. Makes everything easier. Clean up the butts. And tie her in. One, two, three. All right, that is nice fluffy tail there. Let's see how this looks. We'll do some flash. We'll do a little bit of pink flashabou, 2 strands on each side. We will not overpower. with too much flash. I guess that's 3 strands on each side. Try to get that right down as a lateral line, right in between the white and the olive, slightly longer than the tail. That's what we're going for. Right down the middle, slightly longer than the tail. Boom. Alrighty. Let's trim that out. Throw that away. How we looking? We'll finger whip and then put a little bit of glue. One, two, three. Ooh, there's a, yeah, there we go. Now we're tight. Trim it out. A little bit of glue. Spread it around. Don't get it on the marabou. We should have done 2 whips. Our whip is already coming undone. Oh, we got glue on it. So I think it should be good. I'm gonna trim that ugly bit out. Trim that out. And remove. Trim that down. Yeah. Good. Let's go here. And then we'll do our articulation. With the monofilament. Tied in on the sides because we're going vertical. On the side, on the side, on the side, on the side. On the side, on the side, on the side, on the side. Thread in our tail. It's olive over white. Keep that in mind. On the side, on the side. 3 loose wraps, draw in the articulation and stop. 1, 2, 3. One, two, three, four, 5. Let's trim out that mono. Secure it down all the way. Yeah, that's good connection right there. Then we'll drop some glue on it. Where's my spreading stick? Spread, 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 spread. A little bit more over here. Should be good. And now, so I don't think we need any more material here. We start some kind of body, and then we go wing and head. But do we do deer hair head or some other kind of head. That is the question. Okay. We can do an olive soft hackle, or something a little bit darker, I think. Darker and longer. This one's a chartreuse. Yeah. Well. This one is too thin. I want something a little bit webbier. Ooh, I found some black mylar. That would look good. Keep that out. Oh, that's what I'm talking about. A quite ugly feather. Trim off the butts. And tie-in point. I'm gonna try to get a little bit artistic here. This is not necessary, but we'll do a little bit of orange, pink. This is ripple ice fiber shrimp. Get a little ripple shrimp, a little orange dubbin. And I'm going to tear that up a bit. Tear it up. There's a piece of silver in there too. We'll tear him up too. And I'm going to do a loose. No, I'm going to tie in the feather first. What the heck? Tie in the feather first. Then I'll do some loose wraps with the ripple pink and the orange dubbing. Loose, loose. Loose, loose, loose. A lot of that will get picked out. And a wrap. I'm going to put one wrap behind our hackle. 2 wraps behind the hackle. And then I'm going to go in front of the hackle. And that's enough of that. I'm going to pick it out. I could have done the ripple ice on the articulation too. Gently pick, we don't want to rip. pick. We'll take some material out. We'll wrap our hackle slow, kind of working it in between the dubbing and the ripple ice. We'll have to pick again. And slow, and slow, and slow. Tie it off. Trim it up. I'm going to preen a little bit and do a pinch wrap. Get all those fibers working back. And then we'll do a slight pinch wrap. Time down that butt. And then we can come in between the feather. Try to expose some of that ripple ice. A little bit. That's good. And then we do our wing. Olive. Certainly not as heavy as we did the tail. Let's measure it out. That's good. The quality is not very good of this marabou. Let's see if that looks better. That's better. Trim it out. Right behind the hackle. Should have cleaned up our butts. And then we do a little white? I don't think we do. I think we keep the belly empty. We're gonna use the dumbbell eyes. The dumbbell eyes are yellow. We'll tie in the dumbbell eyes under because we don't want it floating, or we don't want it riding hook point out, we want it riding hook point down. So we'll tie them in under. And then we'll tie them in slightly ahead of the hook eye. Just crossing them up, crossing them up, secure, secure, cross, secure, secure. One more time, one more time. Okay, those are in there pretty good. We're gonna put a drop of glue in. Rubber legs, no rubber legs, that's your choice. That is your choice. I guess we'll do rubber legs. Why the heck not? We got 4 here. We'll do 2 on each side. adding for bigger profile. Then we'll trim them out. Let's put those ones later. Back to the head. Okay, so because we put all this trash on there, we're gonna go with the hair. One bunch here. I think it's gonna be, I don't know, I didn't leave enough space in front, so I don't know if I can get a bunch in front. We'll try. Should have left more space. Clip out some hair. I'm going to clean up the butts of the hair. Get rid of the underfur. And then I'm going to stack the hair. Stacky, 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 stacky. And then I'm gonna pull the shorts one more time, going through, cleaning out the hair. And then measure the collar. Be nice to get a little collar on here, just aesthetics. And then stack that in on top, nice and tight. Then we'll rotation, and then we'll try to do white on the bottom, or gray or cream, or some lighter color. This is actually bucktail, but the base of a bucktail. It'll flare, but it won't float. And because we didn't put any marabou on the belly, I think it'll cover better for the belly. So we'll use this. Pull out any longs, measure it out. And nice and tight. Give it a flare, nice and tight. One more wrap, rotation. Advance our thread. I'm going to trim that down. A bunch in front and a bunch behind and a bunch in front would be ideal. But they're going to have to be small bunches. So we'll clip out a little bit. We don't need to stack it, but we do need to clean it. Pull the shorts. I'm going to back up a touch. and you don't want to trap that white, so work slow, wrap slow. That's one, cinch down. We need one more at least. Oh, it's traveling. We want it behind the eye. It's traveling around. And that's two. Our white traveled around a bit. We're gonna go in front. We could stop here, but we're not going to. I'm deciding whether I try to get some white behind or not. I think a little bit of white in front and spun is gonna be the way to go. Or behind and spun, in front and spun, in front and spun if we can, not spinning. Let's try to tease it down. Let's check our coverage. Coverage looks good. Let's pack a little bit. We can't pack much because that eyeball is sticking out there. We certainly have crowded the eye, but it's still exposed. We'll tie this off and we'll trim it up. That's a 2-turn whip, and I think that's about as good as we can do. The face, we're just gonna round it out. Round it out. You can use the eyeballs as your guide, rounding it back. Careful about the rubber legs. Knock those loosies off. Working back toward that collar. Working back toward the collar. A little bit more up top. We gotta take off. And clean up this front. It's a lot of hair on this head. But I guess the reason we tie this one is big profile. Not great coverage on the belly, but the bucktail worked out well in place of the bottom wing. That was a good choice. Cleaning up some strays with the scissors. Got a lot of strays on this end. These are all strays. Got some feathers in there too. Split the leg. And yeah, I mean, the rubber legs are a bit ridiculous, but we got our hook point exposed. I'm gonna clean that up a bit. Our hook eye is pretty crowded, but it's there. I'm gonna do a drop of glue on the face, and then I'm gonna have to clear the hook eye, and then I might burn out the rest of the hair around the hook eye. Might have to burn it out later. Before that sets, I'm going to try to clear it a little bit. Hopefully it kind of sets around that eye. Yeah, there we go. Looks good. All right, finished. Finished. Kind of modified dungeon. It's got weight. Can you cast it on a 4-weight? Maybe. Probably 5 is better. Hook is a little bit small. And then there's no second hook, which is the way I like it. I don't like 2 hooks hanging off a bait this size. You'll catch a bass. Yeah, it'll work. Let's do God, this is a mess. There's hooks and tied in all kinds of material here. It'll dry. Here's another dry. Some nymphs, or we could do another streamer. Oh, bass bug. Bass bug would be good. Bass bug would should be good. I'm gonna do a little let's do a little something fun. Get our thread started here. I'm thinking crease fly. Crease fly, crease fly. But we had a little, we trimmed out this zonker strip last time. So we can tie this in. It's got a weak point. You can see it. So I'm gonna pull the weak point off, and then I'm going to use this, the rest of it, as a little tail for a crease fly, mini creasy. We get our belly piece, 2 mil. On the body, measure it out. Actually, we can tie this off. That's the extent of the tie. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Trim that out. Let's get this to size. A little bit. I guess that'll work. I'm going to angle down. I might do more, a little sharper angle later. Then I'm going to take that point off. Yeah, that looks good. Put a little glue on that. Right on the bottom. I'm gonna get it situated perfect, and then come up, pinch it together. And we need to clip it. Clip would be nice. It looks like it's set. That's fine. The zonker strip off of the back of the crease fly is not the best choice. This holds a lot of water, and this isn't, because it's so small, it's not going to be very, very buoyant. So what you're going to end up with is kind of a subsurface. This might not sit on top. This might not sit on top. Let's cut off another bit of foam. We're going to measure it out. Measuring the length first. That's good. We're not going to do that. We'll give it a little hood. We're going to come up, get a little trapezoid shape going. then we'll knock off the, well, maybe not. Maybe if I can get them all the way around, no, that would get the hook point. We'll knock them off. I'm gonna keep this back flap long so that the hair seems like it's coming out of the back flap. I'm not gonna glue the back flap down. Getting more foam, increasing our chances of flotation. So I'm gonna add the glue just to the front. Just to the front and sides. It will eventually fail and start coming apart, but hopefully after it catches a few fish. Yeah, there's some gap on the side. I'd like to get a little bit of glue on the sides, so I'm gonna toothpick it, and I'm gonna slip that toothpick in the side, fold it down, and then do the other side. Fold it down. And then we'll give it a little paint job. This is not necessary. Little paint job. Okay. Little red throat would be nice. So we'll let that dry out a bit, and then we'll try to add a little red throat, and then we will glue on some eyes. Fan would be nice to have. For the throat, the toothpick is pretty wide diameter, so I'm gonna put a little bit of glue on the mono, and then I'm just gonna touch it with the mono. But this all depends on how much you put on there. If you put too much on there, this isn't gonna work. So we'll dress up the mono with some paint. It's already beading too much. Let me try to do this so you can see. And then we're gonna just give it a nice tap across. We did too much, but yeah, too much. And then our other paint didn't dry, so we rushed it. It's okay. Let's pick some eyes. Eyes on the left hand. Do a little drop on the side. Place Place your eyeball. Let it set. That's good. Do the other side. Place your eyeball. Let it set. That's good. If you wanted to be real artistic, you could do a little bit of darker color on the back. Gently. That's enough. That's a little baby crease fly. Certainly, we have tied enough. We only tied 4 flies. Fly tying is ridiculously slow. Okay, let's clip that. This needs to be set to dry. So we'll press it in a little foam. And then we'll get our other patterns. And we'll take a field trip over here. Let us review the day's work. We started with a lovely CDC caddis, 2 CDC feathers as the wing, a nice blend orange, brown, and black for the body with the CDC hackle. Good pattern. We did that one yesterday. Then we did olive, Mayfly CDL for the tail, Coq de Leon, CDC tip, 1 single wing with a hackle, spun hackle, which is nice. And then we did a streamer, articulated streamer, but we made our articulation super stubby, and we only tied in white marabou, olive over white marabou with 3 pieces of flash off of that. Then we did a hackle, a webby hackle palmered over ripple ice fiber, pink ripple ice fiber, and orange dubbing, so it's kind of poking out. I was thinking like brook trout theme, but obviously not a brook trout. But we do have color differentiation, olive over white, and that's enough. Why we added the chartreuse legs, I don't know. We might end up pulling those out later. We did a deer hair head over dumbbell eyes tied on the bottom. This back patch is actually bucktail. We could have trimmed it a little bit cleaner, but it is incorporated because of the white marabou. We wanted a white belly. And then the top is just deer belly hair with a little collar. This is like Gallup's Sex Dungeon pattern, but much smaller and not, yeah. But everybody ties a streamer like this these days. And then we finished with a crease fly, wide body. We used an old bling strip. It has a sticker on the back. This is half, so we split a bling strip, and we used the first half for this jig streamer, which I have right here. We did a jig streamer And then the second half we tie down to this crease fly. There's a piece of foam under, wrapped taco style, and then you wrap a piece of foam over. You have to kind of eyeball the cuts. You can get creative with the cuts. What makes this one a little bit weird is the back is not glued. The back is riding open, as you can see right there, because I wanted the hair to be kind of flowing out the back. It'll work, but not the great. It's small. It's like a little bass or panfish pattern. It's quite small. All right, I am done. You guys are champions, and I will see you next time.